The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the second time in, I believe, 3 weeks, this is Dave Boyle filling in for Paul Solano. I happen to be the chairman of the Pembroke School Committee, an old friend of Paul's. And Paul actually, I believe, took what is called my brother's spot at one point with the Boiling Point. Definitely thank you for listening. We're presented by Northeast Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. And I just think that is one of the funniest slogans I have ever heard. My dear friend Paul is off running a barbecue in Haverhill, I believe, at this point. Hopefully he'll try to call us in later, but we don't want to have a chance of messing up the food there. So thanks to the Pearl Street Restaurant in Malden, Paul sends his regards to all. Meanwhile, Paul's chef, Felipe Fitzpatrick, and his culinary team are holding down the fort at Pearl Street Station. I do have an in-studio guest with me today, my good friend Chris Perry, who I'll introduce in a couple of moments. And I'm wondering, Tim, do we have Shelley? Is she calling in today? Oh. Tim, is Shelley calling in today?
Yes, she will be calling in. Yes, she will. Yep.
Okay. Well, just give me a heads up when she comes on. We're down here at the Plymouth waterfront. This place is amazing. I was teasing Rob. I think I parked in Kingston and had to walk here. I'm parked down by Memorial Hall, and if you get an idea, we're down in front of like the Plymouth Rock area where the Mayflower is. So I'm getting my steps in. So to say the least, we're on the corner. Please stop by. Again, it's always fun for me following a legend. Mr. Hackle, it's always good to see you. Mr. Wolfson, always a pleasure. And I met Rob Gilman in person. I have been listening to Rob Gilman for as long as I can remember. And it's funny, he's actually as I pictured him. Yeah. I said, I think he's going to look like a college professor. Yeah. And he did. Yeah. You know, I was kind of really impressed by that. So it's a heck of a lot of fun. I'll tell you, I know the Marshfield Fair is going on today. This is going on. This place is absolutely packed with people. It is just, they've got the street closed off. You're seeing baby strollers, people walking dogs. It's friends, family, people of all ages. It is just an absolutely amazing event. I have to admit, I didn't realize this was quite the event that it is. I am absolutely impressed. I just think this is fantastic. Oh, I'm hearing phone calls.
Yes, you ask, you shall receive. Shelley Wolf is on the line.
Shelley Wolf, David Boyle filling in again. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, David?
I am doing outstanding. It is about 80-something degrees. I'm on the Plymouth waterfront. I'm in our spacious studios here under a tent. It doesn't get any better than this. But love to hear from
amazing. You. Yeah. Well, it sounds amazing. Today we are going to talk about plugged in and choosing the safest way to charge your devices. So many times when we are out at the airport ready for a flight or picking up that rental car, your phone battery is dropping fast, and what is most convenient is to plug in a USB or USB-C thing into the wall or into one of those desks or right into the car directly. And, you know, yeah, that's an easy fix, right? But not so fast, because today's tech tip is all about charging smart and staying safe, because all of our plugs are not created equally. So what does that mean? Why use your own plug? Using your own wall adapter or 2 to 3 pronged plug is the safest and most reliable way to charge any device. Wall outlets deliver constant power and it protects your battery. When we use those public USB ports, whether at airports or in a car, we are delivering slower and uneven power to our devices, but they wear down the battery a lot faster as well over time. But more importantly is the risk to using public USB charging ports. For example, airports and hotels, USB ports may be tampered with to install malware or steal your data, a scam called juice jacking. A lot of times in rental cars, plugging into your car's USB port, not a personal car, but if you're renting cars, your USB port can sometimes transfer personal data. So it takes your contacts, all your call logs. You know, again, it's an easy way to communicate wirelessly while you're scrolling and renting a car. And it will retain your information if you give it your information. So, for example, once I rented a car, I plugged in the USB, it downloaded all my contacts. I was going to be using the car for a week, but the car just wasn't working for me, so I went back, got a different car, same brand, got in the car, and it automatically had already pulled over my device. So, again, it's very scary. You want to use, if you are renting a car and you do decide to do that, at least make sure you are deleting your data before you leave that car. Because a lot of times, again, people can get in there and hijack all your information. You don't want to do that. Cables you see left behind that might be considered free or found for charging cables are often have hidden chips in them and can compromise your phone. So a good analogy is using random USB ports is like drinking out a stranger's cup that you don't know. So again, safer options are portable power banks. Carry a small rechargeable battery with you. It's very personal. Heck, these days they even have ones that fit in your wallet. Car adapters, plug your charger into the 12-volt outlet instead of the USB port if they have them. I've noticed they've stopped making them on some of the cars. Safer and faster and no-risk data transfer. Look for wall outlets at the airport. Many newer terminals are now putting them on like desks around the space, so you have like sitting areas where they're even up, not against the wall. USB data blockers, hard to find, but there are little devices that allow power to flow through but block data transfer, so you want to read on that on it when you're buying it. And then quick charging safety checklist. Again, use your own charger and plug into the wall whenever possible. Avoid airport and hotel USB charging stations. And rental cars use the 12-volt outlet, not the USB port. Carry a portable charging bank, and consider a USB data blocker. So again, before your next trip, toss in that wall plug and portable charger into your bag. Don't rely on the USB ports. It could cost you more than just a little battery life. A few smart tidbits can keep your phone powered and personal data safe. So that's what I've got for your tech tip today. Stay charged, stay safe, and we will chat next week.
Shelley, you are absolutely amazing. I learned more in about 3 minutes with you than I've learned about computers, phones, any of these high-tech devices. I was a low-tech guy in a high-tech world, but thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So we can be reached at info@podproentertainment.com if anyone's looking for us.
Fantastic. You beat me to the punch. So there's a little segment here with Shelley Wolf, global media firm, owner of Toolbox Entertainment, Vice President of Technology, Literacy for PodPro Entertainment, and a past Paul Ponders podcast guest. Try saying that 5 times fast. Holy heavens. There we go. Hey, we'll see you next week. Look forward to talking with you.
Sounds great. Stay cooled out there.
Oh, we're doing our best. I said the air conditioning isn't working too good right now.
I understand. Well, do your best and enjoy the great day.
Make it a great week. Take care, and thanks for the time.
Take care. Cheers.
Fantastic. Well, I've got a few minutes. Let me introduce my guest, Chris Perry, a personal friend and owner, or co-owner, I should say, with Alicia, of Alluring Concepts. If you want to give a little quick shout as to what you do, and we'll talk about it, and we'll come back to talk about our purpose for being here today.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, David. Yes, I'm Christopher Perry. I am the production manager for Alluring Concepts, which is a design-build firm, actually in Pembroke, of 21 years.
That's amazing. And it's you and your wife?
Well, it's Alicia's business.
It's Alicia's business.
Yeah, we are a woman-owned company in a man's industry.
Yeah, well, hey, Alicia, one is a very attractive woman, a very smart woman, and like said, she married you, so she has to be doing something correct to say
I don't
the
know
least.
about that, but, you know.
And now you serve on one of the boards in town?
That is correct.
In Pembroke, I should say, in Pembroke.
In Pembroke, that is correct. I am... I was actually approached by several members in town because of a construction background, because on the Historical District Commission, Commission, you want to be able to have someone with experience in building and how structures are put together, etc. So I was approached on that, and the next thing I know, I'm on the committee, and then all of a sudden I'm now the chair. It's like, wait a minute, how did the hell did this happen? Yeah, so we can. We're putting it all together.
Well, my dad always said cream rises to the top. So I think with a town like Pembroke, you run into where we have some, that older buildings. I know the question always comes up, the Hatch building in the center of town.
Correct.
What are we going to do with it? And you try to explain to some people, if I have my terminology corrected, that technically has to maintain a school usage.
Correct.
So people have said, well, why don't we, rent the building out or let someone take it over? We can't.
Correct.
Again, but it's a beautiful building. It needs some work. Right there with our new beautiful recreation center.
Community center, exactly.
Community center.
Yeah.
I still call it the rec center. There
Yep.
we go. Again, a shout out to my dear friend Lance Kennedy. He's doing an outstanding job down there. Some amazing events. I was just there this morning, as a matter of fact. And I'll tell you what a small world it is. I was walking out. I'm going to give myself a pitch here. I was working out this morning, came out of the gym. There's a little gym area up there. And a woman says, hey, I heard you're hosting on WATD today. So the value of this listening audience is absolutely amazing. I just said, wow. I said, I'm a guest host, and somebody knew that.
Yep.
So
That's awesome.
I said, it's not like the legend over here, Rob Hackle, who's got a show every morning that I love to listen to. So that's a lot of fun. It works out pretty well for us. We're expecting John Brown, hopefully, is going to be, right on cue.
Speak of the devil.
Speaking of the devil, John Brown, Pembroke Selectman. We're going to get into a thing probably after a commercial break to tie it all together. We've been working on putting together a nonprofit, no political affiliation, nothing, and basically, a 501c3, and we're going to be called the Pembroke Foundation, and basically the tagline is Pembroke Helping Pembroke, and we're going to raise money for Pembroke causes. It's just, again, fun things, some things we're going to get into. We do have an event coming up in September that
Correct.
I want to talk about. Well, let me say hello to my dear friend, Mr. Brown, who just came in. So you might have to get close to the mic there, John. So the seats are a little tough. They're not made for, I said in my case, a 240-pound guy. I sunk a little, so it made it a little tough.
No, I appreciate being here. I finally found parking, and probably the last spot in Plymouth right now. So it's rocking and rolling right now.
Yeah. Well, I said I parked in Kingston and walked here. I'm up by the Kentucky Fried Chicken, so I'll get a chance to eat when I get there. So that's half the fun. We just started talking. Said this is a beautiful event. We had a great event in Pembroke a couple weeks ago in the Arts Festival and all the stuff. The joke was trying to get through downtown. Took you about 20 minutes, and people that didn't have any idea what was happening down there, but between the Arts Festival and the Farmers Market. But this is Americana, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
You look out here, and it's so much fun. People stop by and they wave to you. And it's funny doing a live remote, because you do it in the studio, there's no distractions. When you do this, and again, I don't do this professionally, I have a great time. This is, it's like Fantasy Island for me. Someone says, do you want a microphone for an hour? I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I think I can handle that. So it should work out pretty good for us. Again, you've got to... It's fun. You have a format, you have a schedule. There's some things you have to follow and things you need to do. And it's, again, I just find it amazing. I co-hosted a couple of times. I've done some play-by-play on some radio stuff and some sports stuff. And it's really fun because, you listen and you see through the eyes of people when you're listening to radio and you're saying, okay, I'm listening to a hockey game, and you hear the guy, we're going left to right, or we're going saying these different things, and you can see it. So, again, trying to give people an idea of what's going on down here, it's just the streets are packed. They're blocked off. We're seeing baby strollers. You're seeing parents, grandparents, dogs, cats, all sorts of little pets. I'm laughing. There's a guy walking by right now carrying his pet, which is kind of cute. But, again, it's a heck of a lot of fun. And again, what a great way to spend a Saturday. Just come down here, and I guess we're going till 6 o'clock at night. We're not going till 6 o'clock at night, heaven forbid. That would definitely be the thing. But you look at some of these guys, and I want to give shout-outs like Rob and Christine James, some of these people that I've had the pleasure to work with. They do this bang, bang, bang. It's just, and the stuff's coming at them live and all that stuff. It is absolutely insane that they're able to do this stuff. I think we have to cut away for a commercial, Tim, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, let's take the break.
All right, let's take the break, and I'll wait to hear back from you, my friend.
Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Bennekeesit Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you. Have you tried Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools. 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davecai.pitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Boyle filling in for Paul Solano. It's always an honor to be here. Paul is off, I like to say, on assignment, if that doesn't sound pretty fancy. I am fortunate to have two guests with me. I have Selectman John Brown from the Pembroke Board of Selectmen, and I have my good friend Chris Perry, who is on the Historical Commission. Also, I'm going to call you the operations manager of Alluring Concepts. Does that sound good? Are you ready to change of title?
Production manager.
Production manager.
Yeah, production manager. We're always producing and moving forward.
There we go. So here's something I said. I'm going to touch on a bit of a personal note. A couple of people have heard me speak about this. About a year ago, I lost my lovely wife, and I promised her that I would do one nice thing a day in her honor, and whether it's raising money, helping people out, doing whatever. And again, kind of a funny story, and I'm not sure if I told you this. I was in Cumberland Farms in Bryantville Center, and shout out to my friends down there. And there was a guy behind me who didn't have money for coffee, forgot his wallet. I bought him a cup of coffee. Well, there was a police officer, a sergeant from Hanson. I wish I could remember his name. And he said to me, he goes, "Hey, you really walk the walk." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I heard you speak at Springfield College, and you said that you do one nice thing a day, and that's kind of your mission." And I said, "How would you have heard that?" He goes, "My daughter graduated from Springfield College." So it was pretty impressive. I thought it was great. So moving forward to kind of tie the stories together, I've known these two gentlemen for years, and we've talked about doing some kind of a nonprofit for Pembroke. And then I think I'll let Chris pick up the story from there of what we're trying to do, and then John, feel free to jump in. So,
all right. So basically what had happened when I became chair of the Pembroke Historical Commission, I became aware of the historical district area down in downtown Pembroke, and there is a particular strip of land, the Veterans Memorial Park. And back in 2018, 2019, there was a plan to revitalize the park because as Pembroke residents or other residents of the area, that they drive through the area, don't even really recognize that it is a Veterans Memorial Park. A lot of people just think it is part of the front lawn of First Church in the downtown Pembroke area. So there was that plan to go ahead and do it, and things got put into action, but then COVID hit, and everything just came to a standstill, unfortunately. When NY became aware of it, I had asked Selectman John Brown in regards to what happened, how can we bring this back? So we started collaborating together, and we decided to create the Pembroke Foundation. And what that is a nonprofit, kind of fill in the gap. And I use the example of, hypothetically, if Pembroke needed new docks for the waterfront, and hypothetically it was $100,000 for these new docks, and Pembroke was able to raise, say, $80,000 for that, our foundation would fill in that last 20 through private fundraising and organization, and be able to help achieve the goal of what is needed for the town. So as our first strong effort, we are going to move forward with an event on September 18th at the Pembroke Community Center. It's called a Sip and Support. We will have live entertainment, we will have raffles, we will have guest speakers, we will also have a commemorative t-shirt for the event, for help fundraising for the Veterans Memorial Park.
No, Chris, that's absolutely amazing, and the event should be a heck of a lot of fun. Again, ticketed event, $10. John, you were instrumental in this, because I know it sounds crazy. We had to secure a license for the community center, and I know you were involved in that. I'm going to give my friend Sabrina Chilcott a shout out. God loves Sabrina. I think the town moves because of Sabrina. No disrespect to anyone else in town. I love Bill Chenard. I love all the people in the building, but I've always said you want something done, call Sabrina.
Very true.
So, John, if you want to comment on that, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went through a town meeting for the spring, and we were making sure that we could actually have alcohol, or basically sell for events like weddings and stuff like that for our community center, so they could have nice beverages, for the adult crowd. And so we went through. The AG's office has approved it for one of our articles, and I'm looking forward to kind of bringing that forward, because we'll have more people coming in to rent the space out on a private event compared to a lot of the stuff we're doing with the general public, who has free access because the residents could were paying the taxes for this entity. So well, again, it makes the event, again, the sip thing. What we're going to do is I'm bringing in wines from around the world. I'm bringing in beers, hopefully predominantly New England beers. And we've got some people that have been kind enough to donate gift cards to us. Matter of fact, Linda at the Alumni Cafe just gave me $100 worth of gift cards last night. When she heard about the event, I asked for a $25, and she gave me $100.
Great people. Great people.
Unbelievable. My friends.
Veterans. They're phenomenal for veterans.
Yeah. Well, they said same thing. We've got shirts where we're putting some logos on the shirts.
Correct.
Again, it's a bit of a big task. I'm not gonna lie. It's a first event for us to do something of this magnitude. I jokingly told me this where I missed my wife. She was amazing at organizing these things. And John, she probably sold you more raffle tickets over the course of how many events?
I appreciate it. First time I ever met Karen was funny. She flirted with me, and I said, I know you just basically want me to buy stuff.
Well, again, she used to see you, she'd see Patrick Chilcott, Mike Tropiano, a couple of guys, and Patrick always had the best line. He'd say, okay, Karen, how much of a check do I have to write? So he was great at that type of stuff. But again, it's going to be Pembroke helping Pembroke. And again, I just had an idea. I've got to talk, like you mentioned, to Rob, see if we get on Greg Brasso's show. He does the Veterans Voice Radio.
That would be awesome.
Again, we're hoping to get 100, maybe 150 people. Again, we'll take more, but we're going to shoot for that kind of number. Hopefully, again, raise a good amount of cash, a good amount of money. And the same thing moving forward. We have projects. Again, I'm very proud of them. I'm doing it tomorrow, John. I'm not sure if you're at the Eagle Scout ceremony tomorrow. I get asked to speak at one again, and I want to say it's our 78th or 79th Eagle Scout. And a lot of times they do school-related projects, so they appear before the school committee, and they'll say to us, we want to do this, and they did. Camden Hawks just did a Gaga Ball pit, which if you've never seen Gaga Ball, it's hysterical. If you have a son or daughter under the age of probably 12, they can tell you all about it. In my 60s, I had no idea what Gaga Ball was, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. And, the kids come forward. And a lot of times what they do is that they need, $500 or $1,000 they have to fundraise. So I'm thinking an organization like ours, again, will fill in the gap. young man raises $900 or a young woman raises $900, they need $100 more to get them over the hump a little. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
And again, no questions asked. You know, I mean, we want to see it. Again, it's a non-profit. We're just not going to willy-nilly write a check to somebody. But again, we know these kids are legit. We know they're a cause. This veterans event is a great cause. You know, we're trying to get a good amount of people out. I think it should actually be fantastic. It's going to be a Thursday night in Pembroke. You know, people are just going back to school. The routines are just kicking in. I always tell people you don't want to do a Friday or Saturday because everybody on a Friday and Saturday you're up against football and soccer and band and everything else. So again, I think we'll do really well with this. I should give a shout out to Rockland Trust Bank. Amy Lukakos has been instrumental lending us her expertise in fundraising, banking, the best way to, you know, all this stuff now is with Venmos and handheld devices. And again, I'm not sure if your son Steven's coming, but I call him the boy genius. He's the kid that understands all this stuff. Young entrepreneur, and he was saying to me, Dave, we have to do this and do it this way. And I'm like, I concede to a smarter person.
The T-shirt that we're going to be, when you talk about the veterans, the T-shirt that we're actually going to be selling, it will basically say Pembroke across the top. We'll be using the school colors. It will say Pembroke is veteran strong. And then we'll have all the businesses on the back with the Wall of Valor, commissioning those businesses.
No, I think that's a great idea. And it's a kind of a camo-looking shirt, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Believe it or not, folks, a lot of planning has gone into this. So many people have been so great. But the two gentlemen sitting next to me, and of course, young Stephen Perry. Again, I try to tell people that there's no backstory to this, and there's no, you know, is there any personal gain out of this? No, it's just people giving back to Pembroke. Like I said, I think I used the analogy when I talked about this with Patrick Chilcott a couple weeks ago. It's like Marshfield Community Christmas. You know, like someone said, he goes, well, they're raising a lot of money. And I'm saying to myself, and they give it all back. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a great program. And I can't imagine being a kid waking up on Christmas, you know, and not having a toy or not having a present. So, I see us going down that avenue, you know, at some point. I think that could be something, not Marshfield Community Christmas, but, you know, maybe it becomes Pembroke Community Christmas. The kid Mike Falco, that Mike is an amazing, amazing young man, and he raises money. He does a comedy show the last few years. It's been up at Granite Links. And when I tell people you can't get in the door of the place, like if you don't buy the table or buy the ticket, it's just an amazing turnout. And Mike and his wife, and I kind of call them the angels. As I said, a friend of mine once said, remember, not all angels wear wings. And what they do for the community, and they do it, they focus their efforts on Pembroke and Quincy. Mike's originally a Quincy guy. So I think that what we're doing with the Pembroke Foundation, it's going to be great. Again, if you have any questions, my phone number is 617-312-0636. Again, 617-312-0636. Feel free, if you want to give me a call, have a question, you want to donate something. Again, we're looking forward to a good night. I'm drawing a blank on who the entertainment is. We're all grabbing.
Craig, oh man, I'm drawing.
I
put you on his last name. I'm sorry.
Nope, I put you on the spot. See, that's what happens. That's the fun part of live radio. It makes it a bit more of a challenge for us. That I think we have to jump back to the studio, if I'm not mistaken. Tim, is it commercial break time? All right. Why don't we jump back? And I'll turn it over to you, and you can take care of our sponsors: Northeast Fence, Crystal Clear Pools, God Love Bryanville Pizza Kitchen down in the heart of Bryanville, Pembroke Collision. Again, thank you so much.
Have you tried Bryanville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fried dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryanville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryanville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davekaipitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
Hi, folks. It's Dave Boyle filling in for Paul Solano. Paul is up in Haverhill doing a outdoor barbecue. The man is a machine. He never stops. He absolutely never stops. I'm here with my good friend John Brown, a selectman in Pembroke, my good friend Chris Perry, operations, or no, there's a production manager
for
Alluring Concepts out of Pembroke. Shout out to your lovely wife, Alicia. God love you. She puts up with you. It's a wonderful thing. We're talking about a fundraising event we're going to be doing on September 18th at the Pembroke Rec Center from 7 to 9. It's basically a beer and wine tasting. You'll pay an admission. You'll taste wines from around the world, predominantly beers from New England. And no disrespect, this won't be Bud Light, whatever. It'll be more of Harpoon, Wormtown, Fiddlehead, beers of that type of thing. So you can come and try them, like them, do whatever. We're going to have some raffles. We're going to have some great stuff. We have Patriots tickets, Bruins tickets. We have gift cards. We have tickets to the Wang Center in Boston. I'm pretty excited about this. And again, Chris, you're going to give us a little bit of a history about the what we're working on.
Correct. So on the on Veterans Memorial Park, because of my position now with the Historical District Commission, I became aware of a lot of new information that you didn't learn in history in school, like the Pembroke Resolves. Like Pembroke is very famous for that, but no one really knows about it. So basically, the quick background story on this is the Pembroke Resolves was basically a letter written to the King of England, basically declaring before the Revolutionary War even happened that we're leaving, we're gonna no longer have control, and it's all preempted to the Revolutionary War. Now everybody knows about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. It's taught in the history books, but it's the Pembroke militia and the Hanson that walked to Lexington and Concord and actually fought in that war, or battle, excuse me. But we don't get credit for it. This part of it is missing. So if you go into the Pembroke Town Hall, you will see Veterans Memorial Hall. You will see a evolution of history in that room. You will start all the way from the Revolutionary War and come all the way around to present modern day. but it's inside that room. We want to bring that room out to the park. So the park actually would start from the Revolution and be able to be cohesive from the beginning all the way up to present day. And modernizing that park. We also wanted to be able to have a stage area there for either outdoor weddings or public speaking. And if we go ahead and be able to construct this, we want to be able to have enough for a very large audience, because the way it's laid out now, it doesn't really work. You don't really have a very deep audience. You can't really make the land work. But if you turn it and shift the stage onto the side, then you have that entire length of the park for people. You don't have to close down 36 or so much have a police detail. You can go ahead and have that space to work. And we're just putting it all together, and the Pembroke Foundation is going to be the main driving force of generating funds for this revitalization of the park.
Well, I think Pembroke, for some of the people trying to get their bearings, basically, remember where they used to have the Pembroke Fair.
Correct.
As I used to say, it was a summer kickoff, and then we used to close it down with the Marshfield Fair at the end. A little small town fair. It's a nice little stretch of land. It's a great idea. Some people said to me, can we do it on the other side of the street? Again, above my pay grade, I don't have a good answer for that. I don't know, John, if you've got some feedback from people.
No, we've talked about that before, but since COVID, unfortunately, that those fairs have kind of gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
And also the folks turning over within the church, too, of leadership.
Well, that's an interesting point. I just have to throw in one update, gentlemen. My great-nephew just played in his first football game and down in Georgia. They won 6-0. He plays for the Raiders, and believe it or not, I'm a big Raiders fan and Raiders supporter. So they won 6-0. I have to give a shout out to my great nephew Tate Smith and to his dad Chris, absolutely amazing guy. They've been texting me all day that they're up, they're down, they're this, they're that, the whole thing, and then so they just finally, we won 6-0. So sorry, not that you care about a football game in Georgia, but I've got a 10-year-old great nephew that's now the happiest kid on earth. So that works out pretty good. So with this event, and again, John, Chris, you talked about the history. I've actually been told about Pembroke having an amazing shipbuilding history in the North River. And,
correct.
Pembroke's ties run really deep. Again, I grew up on the North Shore. I was a summer kid here in Pembroke when Pembroke was a summer community. I love when people say, well, you were around from Mayflower Grove. No, I'm not that old. I live across the pond from where Mayflower Grove was. But again, the history of Pembroke is absolutely amazing.
There were a lot of businesses in the shipbuilding aspect of the town, absolutely. And the funny part about it is, I can understand, like, say, Quincy, Hingham, Scituate, Cohasset, those types of towns being directly on the water. Shipbuilding, absolutely, 101. I get it. Pembroke, we're not exactly right next to the ocean. We can get there, but it's pretty crazy about, when you think about it, building ships that far inland and getting them to the water.
Well, my question is, I wonder how deep the North River actually is. I've never... I've been on it type stuff, and I've got a friend of mine, Mike Sheeran, who owns a kayaking business that does on the North River, and he does an amazing job with it. By the way, Mike's a big listener. One of those guys that calls me whenever I host a show. He'll call me and say, "You did this really good. I'm very proud of you." And I said, "Okay, Mike, thanks." I said, "So I know I have a listening audience, so that's the fun part." So it works out pretty well. John, some thoughts on how Pembroke's moving, where we're going, what you see in the future?
No, I appreciate that. Where we're moving, where we're actually getting to the 21st century. That's how I've kind of put it for several years, because the people of Pembroke want to move forward. We want to we have a new community center. We're going to be having new public safety buildings. So the combined station up on 53 and 14 are Barker, one of the original founders of Pembroke, the Barker family. I'll bring that up.
Yeah.
And then the substation on School Street, or 27, going up for the fire station. We're looking basically beyond and further to make sure that after the past 20 years or so, we've been kind of, it's not favorable for spending money in the way we're doing right now. but to upgrade our town for us to be, as I call it, the center of the universe. We have 7 towns that touch us, which is phenomenal. And I look at it and say, hey, you know what? We are the center of the universe. We don't have the ocean on one side. We don't have another one on this over here. We have all this community of the South Shore alone. And why can't we be a beacon to be there? I'm still working on signage, basically saying welcome to Pembroke. That's coming up soon enough when it comes off of exit 27. I also have been working with the legislature and the State House on trying to find out if we're able to, or actually if they're going to give us permission to basically make sure we have Pembroke on the sign on Route 3 too, because we deserve to be seen, and that's how I've always looked at it. I'm here for Pembroke. I appreciate our surrounding towns, but I represent Pembroke first and foremost, and I want people to understand they can work, live, and play in this wonderful town.
How long have you been on, John?
This would be my 8th year. It's my 3rd term.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be probably wrapping up my 3rd term, 9 years on the school committee, and I'm just going to throw an issue out, and I know it's a kind of off the beaten path, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. A lot of people asking about the voc question, voc ed. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that? Patrick and I talked about it, and I must have run to more people you can imagine asking me questions. It's so nice. A young man just came up and asked me if we'd have one of our giveaway bags. So there you go. You just got a shout out on the radio, young man. Sorry, John.
Well, the vocational question is definitely, it's going to be up to the folks that can understand when we have everything in front of them during town meeting on how much it's going to cost for initial participation, and then the yearly, and then how many kids we're going to be able to get. It's going to be totally up to the vibe of the people if they really want to do this or not. For myself, I'd love to see it because my kid tried to do the vocational stuff. Unfortunately, was denied his freshman year, and he said, well, I'm concerned that I won't be able to reapply again. I said, well, you can. But he decided against it, so he was doing the Pathways program for Pembroke High School, which was wonderful, especially engineering and all that, too. They've done a wonderful job with the Pathways program to get the kids at least in that direction of the next step, either if it's a vocational trade itself they're trying to get into, or even college, and then moving on from there too.
Yeah, that Pathways program, just touching on a Pembroke School Committee thing, what started out as a very simple program, you said, hey, this may work, is on fire. We have so many kids enrolled in that program, and basically it's kind of a job to work or school to work type program where these kids get to actually experience some real world, what I call them assignments, for lack of a better term. But you get to see. I tell people, I was supposed to be a high school phys ed teacher, and then they passed Prop 2.5 in 1981. I got out of school in '83, and my father said, "You may want to rethink this." Well, that was back then $30,000 that I paid most of, and there was no job opportunity. So I said, now what do you do? What's the path you go now? Is I was going to be a teacher. I ended up in sales. Never saw the two of them working in the same thing, but hey, it's worked out pretty well for us so far, so I cannot complain.
And I love the expansion of these programs, too, that are coming on in the future, too.
Yeah.
It just amazes me.
Yeah, a little shout out there. We're actually looking for people to help us internship-wise. If you've got a need, you can bring a student on, let somebody learn, get some experience. It'd be great. Chris, I just want to jump back to our thing. We're asking some businesses if you can get involved in our event in September. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
Again, my phone number is 617-312-0636. I'm David Boyle. Again, John, you can probably reach through the Board of Selectmen's office. My good friend Chris with Alluring Concepts. So, again, we've got final thoughts, gentlemen. A friend of mine said good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, yeah.
I would just like to say, in addition to any of the businesses that would love to help out, we can please feel free to reach out to us. We have an email address. If you wanted to do that, it's just info.thepembrokefoundation.gov. Excuse me. It's
.net?
Gmail. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. No.
All right, gentlemen. I have to wind it down. I said thank you both for being here and dealing with the traffic and parking 6 miles away. Stay tuned to WATD for the memories with Ron Dwyer, the grand poobah of oldies, rock and roll. Ron, you're a true leader of the pack with great musical memories of yesteryear, so thank you, Ron. If you get a chance to listen to him, he is fascinating. He can tell you who played where. But again, thank you all. Thanks for a wonderful Saturday, Rob Hackler and your team. Thank you very much. It was a great day.